So if you remember, I mentioned in class that on some of these, it really helps to see the picture. That's why I was encouraging you to use Desmos. And of course you still can. So as you're doing these, I would suggest that you open up another tab and type these into Desmos to see the picture. Eventually, because you will just get sick and tired of graphing all of these, you'll remember what they look like. So that'd be great if you remember what they look like from pre-calc, but just in case it's kind of foggy and dim in that memory bank, then you go up in Desmos and you look at it. A lot of times, just having the picture helps clear things up. Here's what you need to remember. Just because we're super sophisticated in calculus doesn't mean we don't want to rely on graphs. I love pictures. I love math pictures. So I'm always going to try to draw the graphs because it just makes it so much clearer. So, of course, hopefully you remember that the cotangent graph looks like this. And so I can see exactly what's happening as I approach 0 from the right. I am going to positive infinity. And look how much simpler the graph made it. Okay, so you'll have to disregard this big black blob on the left where my face is in front of because TouchCast is being a little psycho now. Crazy! So I like these sketch ones. They give me pieces of information and I have to try and make that work on the graph. So I know that, on my graph at when x is 0, y is 0, so I would put a dot there. I know as I approach negative 2 from the left, I'm going to negative infinity, so that means, oh, I must have a vertical asymptote, and of course I'd be going down. And then I notice as I approach 1 from the left, I'm going to positive infinity, so I must have another vertical asymptote at 1. And from the left, so I would be going up, that's towards positive infinity. And at the same time, I notice that as I approach 1 from the right, I'm going to negative infinity, so that would be down here. And then I find out that there's a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, so I want to put that in. Now keep in mind, it is possible to cross these horizontals in between verticals. Really this is about what's happening as you go farther out and out and out. So I know I have a dot right here in the center on that vertical asymptote. I mean the horizontal asymptote, but that's because I'm between a pair of verticals. So really I just have to make sure that I don't cross the horizontal out here and I don't cross the horizontal out here because that's really talking about the end behavior. So now I'm ready to start sketching and putting things together. So, I was a little interested in what was happening on the side of this vertical, but if I go back and look, oh, it says as I'm approaching negative 2 from either side I go to negative infinity. That explains the mystery going on in my head. Okay, so now I'm ready to start joining things together. So of course here I knew I was going to negative infinity, and when I come back up, can't cross the horizontal. And here I was going to negative infinity, and then I have to come up and I have to hit 0, because that was one of the dots. And then I was going to positive infinity. And then here I was going to negative infinity, but as I come up, can't cross the horizontal. So my mystery graph looks like that. Isn't that cool? I love these. They're like a puzzle. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so I gotta talk fast, only got a minute. So on this one, I know that when x is 0, y is negative 2, so I'm gonna plot that. And I know that as x goes to plus or minus infinity, so this is really talking about a horizontal asymptote, which is 1. So I'm gonna put in my horizontal at y equals 1. And then as I approach 3 from the negative side, I go to negative infinity. So I've got a vertical asymptote, that means happening at 3. So from the left, I'm going to negative infinity. And from the right, I'm going to positive infinity. And then you have a typo in your notes. There should be a negative 3 right here. So I see that as I'm approaching negative 3, I land on 0. So when x is negative 3, I hit 0. And now I try to connect my dots. So here I'm going to negative infinity. Oops, I got to make sure that I hit that dot and that dot. And on the other side, I just know I'm going to there. And when I come down, I can't touch this. There you go.